Japanese energy healing that's discovered by a Japanese monk, Master Mikao Usui. And it's something that you actually all use unconsciously. You know, when you have a headache, you put your hands on unconsciously and you feel like it feels better. Or when you have a tummy ache, you put your hands on, right? And then later on, you feel like it feels a little better. That's you using the Reiki energy unconsciously. So the Reiki energy is often translated as universal life force energy. So it's this energy that's everywhere, that we're surrounded by. And what I teach in the Reiki class is the system on how to use the Reiki energy, the universal life force energy. So the benefit of Reiki, or the benefit of taking my Reiki class, is that you actually learn to take care of yourself. You learn the Reiki self-care. Is you learn to be connected to yourself. And you can rediscover yourself, or you can be connected to yourself. So you have a guidance within yourself. And that's what we cultivate in the Reiki class. So in my Reiki class, there's 5 simple steps that you follow to live a life that you feel centered and grounded and connected.
Thank you so much for being here today for the Reiki Circle. Can you raise your hand? This is your first Reiki anything? Wow. Okay. Yeah, oh, newbie. Thank you. Wow, thank you for being adventurous and trying something new. Anyone excited? Yeah. Okay, good. Let me start with explaining what Reiki is. Reiki came from Japan. It was discovered in 1920 by a Japanese monk. And the story is that he went up onto this mountain, this very sacred mountain in Kyoto, Japan, to do a 21-day fast meditation for enlightenment. And on the 21st day, he was hit by a lightning, and then he got enlightened and he saw these things and he got the ability. I think that's like the fantasy version of the story. But I always think it's like, you know, cute and more memorable. So I think the real story is like, you know, he probably came to enlightenment by doing meditation and fasting. And then 21st day, he came down the mountain and he tripped over these like a whole bunch of roots that's up there in the mountain. And he was bleeding and he put his hand on and he realized that the heart went away. And then when he came back to the village and there was a girl next door who was sick, who came over to him, and when he put his hand on, then she healed right away. So that's the story, and this is from 1920s. I'm sure there's some fairy tale in there too, but that's how it started. But what it's known for now in America is known for stress reduction and also energy boost. So what's interesting is you can have both at the same time. You know, you can relax, but also have the energizer. So you don't, like I don't drink Red Bull or any caffeine. I don't need them because I have Reiki. And Reiki is just a universal energy that's just up there. And you all know how to use them. You use them unconsciously. But what I do in my class is to teach you the system so you can utilize more. So have you ever had a headache and then you put your hand on and then it feels like your headache is a little bit less? Anyone? Yeah, right? And even if it doesn't, most of you, if you're having a headache, it's like, ouch. You unconsciously put your hands on, right? Same thing with tummy ache. If when you're having a tummy ache, then you put your hands on, it's like, oh my God. And so you're actually unconsciously using the Reiki, which the translation can be universal life force energy. So you're using them on your own without knowing that you're using it. So what I teach is for you to be able to use them with a little bit more conscious and a little bit more focus. So what I want to do today is to give you some tools for you to go home with, and then I'll add a little bit of a self-care since it seems like that's what you need, and then I'll send you off to home. But now you're going to have something you can use every day, and you don't need anything. All you need is your hands and your mind. So you guys ready? Okay. So the first thing I want to teach you is called dry bathing. And this came from Japanese Shintoism, and but it's not any religious related what I teach you. And this is pretty much, I'll just show you how I do it, and then I'll teach you how to do it, and then I'll tell you what it is. So it's a very simple technique. You just go like this. And I'll show you, don't worry. Wait. So this helps to activate your meridians, but also if you're at a situation where it feels icky, right? Like you're at the barbecue and then couple next to you start fighting, or you know, the two people start bickering and your family members start, and then you're just like, oh my God, okay, now I got hit by, oh, how many of you in here are empath? How many of you are affected by? Yeah, so if you're empath, and for those of you who doesn't know what empath is, people who's sensitive to the surrounding energy. So people around you, if you're affected by that, this will be very helpful for you. So what you do is you bring your right hand over to your left shoulder. So now you can do this with me. And then you go crosswise over to your torso. And then now left hand over to the right. And go over to the other side, crosswise. And now back to the first side. Right hand over to the left shoulder and go crosswise. Okay? And now you bring your left hand out. And now the right hand, so left hand out. And the right hand go over to the left shoulder. Go all the way through to your fingertips. And now to the other side. And go through the other side all the way to the fingertips. And then last time, this side. So it's only a little bit confusing because we only do one side twice, and it's not even number. So how I do it, and just watch me and we'll do it again together, is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So as you're counting, then you won't, you won't get lost. So let's do it together. Right hand over to the left. 1, 2, 3. Now left hand out. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And let's do it one more time. But this is very easy, right? You can teach your 3-year-old if you want to. Okay, so right hand over to the left. And now what I want you to do is breathing in. And as you breathe out, go crosswise. Now left hand over to the right. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in again and breathe out. Now bring your left hand out. Breathe in and out. And now the other side. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Okay, do you start to feel a little bit of activation in your body? You feel a little bit more energy, right? And some of you may start to feel a little bit buzz. So it's a great way to activate your energy if you're feeling a little bit low, like 3, 4 o'clock, and instead of running over to a caffeine, maybe you could do a quick version of that a couple times, and breathing helps. But when you're starting out, it's like, wait, what am I doing? So you may want to start out with 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And once you get used to that, then you can add the breathing. But I just wanted to give you the breathing component now, so that way, once you get used to it, then you'll be able to add it. So there's all these ways you can use this. So if you are going into a meeting, maybe that's very important to you, but your mind is all over the place, right? You stayed up all night and you had all these different things that you were putting together. Yeah, I think it rings a bell for some of you. Then you're not quite centered and grounded. So then if you can find a quiet spot, some of my students goes to the bathroom and then they just do this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and really get back in your body and mind and body together. So that way, when you're presenting, you'll be able to be there as who you are and what you know. And also this helps you to trust yourself. Right? Instead of running around all over the place, this is a time to really connect with yourself and really have a faith in yourself. And also faith in whatever you believe in, the bigger picture than just you too. So do you think this is something you can take on, that you can use? Okay, so let's do it one more time together. And you can add the breath or not, whichever is easy for you. All I do is I'll just count 1, 2, 3. And if you can count with me. So let's all say 1, 2, 3 as we do the dry bathing. Yes? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Left hand out. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. So I want to hear from a couple of you. What are you feeling? Like, do you feel the difference in your body? Anything in your mind? Just, I see some nodding. Yes? Uh-huh. Oh, great. Oh, I didn't know it could reduce the headache. That's good to know. I'll try using that next time when I have a headache. Thank you. Yes, much better option than taking Advil.
One question.
Yes.
When you take a breath, can you take a long breath or what is a normal breathing?
I normally do deeper breath, but sometimes I'm at a place where I have to do it really quick, right? Then I'm not even doing the breath with it.
Okay.
So you can use it however that works for you.
So when you're walking, even if you don't do the deep breathing, it is going to work. Just 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but adding the breath,
This will help it.
yeah, it gives you a little bit deeper. But also, once you do it all the time, then you get used to it because this is pretty much the formality, right? This is just a form. So because I've been doing it for a long time, I can even do it in my head and it works because I know what kind of energy this creates. So it takes you a little while to get there, but if you're in a public space where you feel like, oh, I can't be doing that, you can even do it in your head. If you're someone who has anxiety for traveling, this is a really good way to get rid of your anxiety. Just breathe and just let it go. Did you have any question? Did you have your hand? Yes.
Do you recommend any particular posture while doing this?
So there's no particular posture that works better because I do it everywhere. But you could do it standing up too. Yeah. Yeah, so it's case by case, right? So if I on a subway and if I'm feeling icky with whatever happened there, then I'm kind of getting all those energy out of me. But then there's times when I'm going somewhere, when I need to be connected with myself, then I may even have my eyes closed. And my intention is to focus to connect to myself. Yeah, does that answer your question? Good. You guys have great question and great feedback. Okay, anyone else? Anything else?
How long can you last?
Depends on you. So sometimes, you do that, and then also depends on the situation too, because if you go into important meeting, and if that meeting lasting all day, you may have to go do it again during the break, right? But then also, if you're really well prepared, and if you've been doing this for a long time, and I'll teach you a little bit about self-care too, but if you are someone who does self-care all the time, then you're already centered and grounded, right? So this is like, I don't know, maybe I'll think of it like a car alignment. So if your car tire is already aligned and it just went off a little bit because you hit something, it's easy to put it back. But if it's already off, then you may have to do a whole lot to put it back. So in the beginning, often people who come see me or come take the class, it takes a little bit more effort to put themselves back in being connected and centered. But then once you're centered and connected, then some little things throw you off, but then it's easy to put it back yourself. Make sense? Okay. So let me give you another technique that came from Reiki, and that's very easy and simple. That unlike this one, you can do it anywhere because people will know that you're doing something. So this one is called purifying breath. And it's just a breath. And how you do the breath is maybe you can all have your eyes closed. And just imagine that the Reiki energy, the universal life force energy, is coming into you, maybe through your crown, or through your nose or through your mouth. So you can breathe in from nose or mouth. And then you want to breathe in all the way down to your tummy. So breathing into your tummy, all the Reiki energy, and then you want to retain that breath for a couple seconds in your tummy. And if you can, 2 fingers below your navel button. So that place is called tanden in Japanese, and that's your core. So retain the breath for a couple seconds, and then breathe out. So sorry, that explanation was very long. I know some of you probably hold the breath for a little bit longer than you can. So let me give you the instruction again. And breathing in the Reiki energy through your crown, or your nose, or your mouth, all the way into tanden, which is 2 fingers below your belly button. And retain the breath for a couple seconds. And now breathe out. Imagine Reiki energy coming out from your hand. Let's do it a few more times. Breathing in the Reiki energy. Imagine it's coming into you through your crown, your nose, your mouth. And retain the breath in tanden for a couple seconds. And breathing out. Imagine Reiki energy coming out from your hand. Breathe in again. Bringing in all the way to tanden. And breathing out. Now imagine Reiki energy coming out from your hands and your feet. Now let's do it one more time. Breathing in. Now you know where it needs to go. All the way to tanden. And breathing out. Imagine Reiki energy coming out from your hands and your feet. Okay, so when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Can you feel a little bit of a shift of energy? Yeah, right? The room energy shifted. And all you did was take like 5 breaths. So when you're at a place where, like another example is like meetings, right? You are at a meeting and someone throws you off, right? They give you an argument. They're like, what is this? What kind of PowerPoint presentation is this? Or, like, what? You mean that company's? And then you're like, whoa, why are they attacking me? You don't have to close your eyes. You can have your eyes open. All you have to do is just imagine Reiki energy coming in, breathing in all the way to your tanden, and then breathing out. And also, if you're in the middle of the argument, some of you may have significant others who likes to argue, or maybe you're that one. Or maybe a family member who likes to bicker. And how many of you end up saying things you regret you said? Anyone? Right? You get heated up and it's just like, man, and okay, I'm not going to say anything, but since I'm being filmed, I'm not going to curse over here. But, and so before you get there, if you notice, if you catch yourself, oh my God, I'm not in a good place. then you don't even have to turn your back, right? I mean, the best thing to do is actually go to another room and cool yourself down. But sometimes that could trigger the other person, right? They think, oh, she left me or he left me. Yeah, like, oh, she's ignoring me. So you could just be like, okay, stop, and then do the purifying breath. And then get yourself back, connected to who you are. And then you can actually say things that's coming out from your mouth that's actually who you are, instead of the rage monster that's speaking for you that you regret later. Does that make sense? So you can use this at so many places. And because people won't know what you're doing, you can do it anywhere. Okay, my favorite color is purple. That's why my company's name is Purple Fish Healing. So often, Reiki or healing energy is associated with purple or like white light. But I also don't want to put that on you. So if it works for you to have that image of the color, because it's easier to imagine the energy when there's a color, then please add whatever your color is. I think some people like golden color too, right? So, or maybe, rainbow color is nice too. So if you want to play with it and add, please do so. I generally just imagine the energy. Like I just picture myself as a funnel, and it's a clear energy. But I think playing with different color will be a lot of fun too. So thank you for your suggestion. Did you feel more peace when you were done with, can I see, raise your hand if you felt the difference? Okay, good. Okay. And how many of you felt like actual shift of the energy of the room when you open your eyes? Yeah, okay, good. So what you want to know, and I'm sure a lot of you already know, is that you can change the whole room. A lot of people work or say they work in a toxic environment. Who in here work in a toxic environment? Oh, good, not too many of you, but I'm sorry for those of you who works in a toxic environment. And you can be the air purifier. Right? You can bring in the purifying breath, even if you're not having any problem, but you can be the cause of changing your workplace or any place you show up. Right? Sometimes you go to, DMV or some places you just end up with, and you're like, oh my God, I just want to get out of here. And, I experienced that too. But then I shift my thinking. Okay, I have to be here for the next half an hour. What can I do to contribute to this situation? Because, other than checking my Facebook and email, there's not much else I can do, right? So then I can bring in the purifying breath or dry bathing, or there's a few other things that I do that I teach in the Reiki 1 class. So that way the whole environment can change. And other people can be affected by your calmness. And the one thing that I would just mention is, as you use these techniques, you become more lighter and brighter. And sometimes you attract more people who need help, which is a good thing, but also make sure, and that's why I'm going to give you a little bit of a self-care, make sure that you take care of yourself first. Because we're too busy taking care of other people and sacrificing ourselves a little too much. So you want to make sure, and I'm not saying be selfish and don't care about other people, right? But people who come to this kind of environment, you guys care other people too much, but too little about yourself. So make sure that you take care of yourself and you take care of other people from the overflowing of the energy that you have. Because when you're drained and you're, so dried up and taking care of your family member, your colleagues, or, anyone that's around you, then they can tell. I mean, I'm sure they're grateful too, but at the same time, you could be a little pissy, right? oh my God, I did all these things for you, and then what are you doing in return? Or like, oh my God, I'm so tired, and I had to do this for you, that for you. Can you see that?
Yes.
So if you're coming from, okay, if you have little children, or maybe you have significant others who needs a lot of help, then you can just tell them, okay, I need to take care of myself first. So can I have 15 minutes in the morning by myself? So that way I can help you, right? Have a communication and make sure that you're taken care of. And then you can go out and help other people. So then they'll be happier. And most of the time, they'll be happy to support you. So most of my students, significant others, when my students become a little bit edgy or snippy, then they'll be like, oh, go do that Reiki thing. Right? So they know that when their significant others come back from doing their self-care or meditation or whatever they're doing, that they're going to come back as a better person. Yeah. Because, not everyone's significant others what the Reiki is. So they'll be like, yeah, that thing, whatever you do in the morning. I like you better that way. So be a little bit selfish and take care of yourself first. It's that putting the oxygen mask on first before you go out and start helping other people. Okay, so do you think you can use the dry bathing and purifying breath?
Yes.
And my recommendation is use it at least once a day in the beginning. Any situation you can think of, because if you don't use them, you forget. A year from now, you'll be like, yeah, exactly. I think I learned something that was useful in this situation, but I don't remember. So just come up with any way to use it. And if you can't use it in like a situation, then just use them first thing in the morning. When you wake up, you sit down, you do dry bathing, and you do purifying breath. You get connected to yourself, and then you start off your day. Even if you just take, that probably takes you less than a minute. If you just do that and start out your day, instead of rolling out, checking your Facebook and email on your cell phone, then your day is going to start out much different. So who can take on that challenge? Anyone?
Yes.
Awesome, great. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to do some spiritual blessing for you. So there's no religious connotations, and this is a very condensed, quick version from what I normally do in a class. But for those of you who was on my Eventbrite mailing list, I asked you to bring in something sacred if you have them, crystal or anything. So if you do have that, if you can just keep it by you. If you don't have anything, that's fine. Often people would like to receive spiritual blessing with some sacred object. So if you do have them, but you have it somewhere else, you can just have it on you, yeah. And if you don't have them, don't worry. But because I mentioned that, I just wanted to make sure that you have it. And is there anyone who would prefer not to receive spiritual blessing? If you do, I'll honor that too. Okay, good. Okay, so each one of you will be receiving a few seconds of that. So it may be 5 to 10 minutes. And what I ask you is to have your eyes closed and just really imagine what your life will be like if you are peaceful and serene and have everything that works out for you. So I'm going to come around and I'll be around your field. I may be touching your head or your shoulder. And all I ask is just be open to receive whatever you're receiving right now. This will help you to connect with the Reiki energy. So I just need you to close your eyes and just think of this as a sacred ceremony. So nothing bad gonna happen, but it's better if you can honor my sacred ceremony with each individual by just having your eyes closed and not invading them. So Elaine's gonna have nice soothing music, and now all you have to do is relax and be open And just imagine what your life would be like if you have a lot of energy and you're not stressed and everything worked out, and you also have all the tools to be able to bring yourself into manifesting all the dreams. Thank you. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, come back to the room and open your eyes. Okay, how was your experience? Does anyone want to share? Anyone? Yes. Not quite the perfect thing for today when it's 99 degrees outside, but it's pretty awesome in a winter time. Especially a lot of women who has like cold hand and cold feet. I mean, that's not the reason I started Reiki, but in the winter time, it's pretty good that my hands get nice and warm in the winter, hand and feet too. But did anyone experience maybe some warmth as you were getting the Reiki blessing?
I did definitely felt like all over my body.
All over your body, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's often the case. And everyone has a different experience. Each one of you have your own experience. Some people actually feel cooling sensation. You felt the cooling sensation? Oh, lucky you.
I felt like my mind went to like this beautiful blue like lagoon, and I just dove in and it felt so cool and fresh.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, I felt your presence because I felt this side
Uh-huh.
getting warmer, and then it came this way, and I was like, okay, right here. It
Ah.
came, but I felt the warmth here.
Yeah. So what often happens, we call it like phantom hand, that I may be somewhere else. So if I were doing a session on someone, then I had moved on from, let's say I was on someone's head and I moved on to the foot, and then they're still feeling both hands, and they'll open their eyes up and be like, wait, did you just grab two more people here or something? And it's generally just the energy is either staying there or getting there ahead of the time. So does anyone have any question, any comment, anything else? Okay. So this, what we just did, is called Reiju. It's a spiritual blessing. And it's a condensed version of it. In Reiki 1 class, I do the full version 4 times. And what it does is it helps you connect to the Reiki energy, so you'll be able to utilize it more. But I wanted to do that for you, so that way, now I'm going to teach you self-care. So when you do the self-care, you have more energy coming out from your hand. Does any of you feel like maybe your hands are a little bit warmer or tingling, or there's some energy? Yeah? Yeah. Okay. I want to feel the coolness too. I'm feeling hot. Cool, okay. So yeah, it's normal to feel like tingling or some pulsation in your hand as the energy is going through. So if you feel them, just know that, oh, okay, the energy is going through. And you may not always experience it. So it's case by case. So if your neighbor is like feeling whole a lot, and if you're not, don't get discouraged by it, because it's always working. And what's so great about Reiki energy is it goes to where it needs to go as much as it does. So I may be working on somewhere else, and maybe my client didn't tell me that they have congestive sinus problem, and because they have that all their life, they don't tell me at the intake. right? It's like for them, that's just like daily life. And then as I'm just like on their heart or something, their nose pop. And then after the session, they'll be like, how did you know I had the congestive sinus problem? It's like, I didn't, but Reiki energy knows. So what's so great about it is you don't even need to know where you need to put your hands on, because if you just put your hands on, then it normally travels to where it needs to go. And the other thing that I want to mention is Reiki energy is, it's not using your energy. So some people get concerned. I mean, over here I'm just going to show you how to do self-care, so you won't be working on other people. But for people who works on other people, they get worried like, oh, well, what if I had a bad day? Or, what if I get their voodoo when I'm working on them? There's no transference of energy. So what you're doing is you're just becoming a channel for Reiki energy, and you don't need to worry about the getting contaminated by yours or theirs. So often people ask me, like, don't you get tired? Because often my session, people come after work, like 7:30 or 8 p.m. And I worked all day too. So I also do graphic design too. And often I work in a very busy, stressful, deadline-oriented place from like 9 to 6 or 9 to 7. And then, I run to go do the session. And people are like, wow, how do you do that? What's so great about it is when I give Reiki session, I'm a channel, so I'm actually receiving the energy. So I'm being treated as I am giving session. And because I start my day with Reiki self-care. So I have a lot of energy from the beginning. So when I started Reiki in 2001, I started it for my dog. My dog had arthritis, and I didn't know anything about Reiki. Supposedly it came from Japan. I didn't know about it. It wasn't popular in Japan back then. But my friend said it's supposed to be good for arthritis for human. Maybe it's good for your dog too. So a crazy dog mom I just jumped on, and I took the class. And he actually stopped limping for 6 years after that. Wow. So yeah, he was 6 at the time, and he stopped limping for 6 years until he was 12. So I started for a very different reason. But since then, I used to be a normal person where I would, normal person, yeah. I would like have to call in sick, right? A few times a year, a couple days, I get a cold or, all those things. And since then, I only called in sick maybe once in 5 years. Yeah, I don't get sick because I know how to take care of myself. So that's why I love using Reiki, because what it does is it just amplifies your natural ability to heal. And then often Reiki is the first step for a lot of people, the door for the alternative healing. So after started Reiki, if you go check out my website, I'm certified in many different modalities. So I learned many other things, but Reiki is the first thing that opened up the door for me. And it's the most simplest thing because you don't need any equipment. All you need is this and your willingness to use them. So I'm going to show you self-care now. And I hope you go home and start using them every day. And, if you like coffee, that's fine. But I don't have to drink coffee at all. I haven't had coffee in, 12 years. And I know if you like them, that's fine. But some people get addicted to it, right? Like they have control of you. And you get worried that, oh my God, okay, it's been 3 hours, I have to have another one, otherwise I'm going to have a headache. So if you're having it for pure joy, I highly recommend it. I'm a foodie, I love eating, and you should do it. But if you're drinking coffee because you're addicted and you don't have any other alternative, maybe you can start to give yourself energy doing more Reiki for yourself. Okay? All right, so, and I'm not going to tell you to take your coffee away because I know some of you that's your best friend. So keep your best friend, but maybe you don't have to be dependent on them. Okay, so the self-care, the abbreviated version I'm going to show you, you want to start with those two things I showed you. So you prepare yourself to actually take care of you. So do you remember the dry bathing? Okay, so let's do that together. And let's say 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 together. 1, 2, 3. Let's stand out. 1, 2, 3. And now let's do a purifying breath. And if you want to, you could place your hand in a prayer position, or you can put your hand on the place that's 2 fingers below your belly button. That's where your breathing is going to go. So we're going to do the breathing into the tanden for a couple of times. So imagine the Reiki energy coming into your body through your nose or your mouth or your crown, and bringing into tanden, and retain that there for a couple of seconds, and breathing out. Breathing in again. And breathing out, imagine Reiki energy coming out from your hands and your feet. Breathing in one more time. Imagine Reiki energy coming into your body, into your tanden, and breathing out. Imagine Reiki energy coming out from your hands and your feet and all around you. One last time. Breathing in the Reiki energy into your tanden and breathing out. Okay, now what I'm going to ask you to do is just gently open your eyes and place both your hands over your eyes. So you're cupping the eyes. And see if you feel any energy coming up from your hands. Or maybe you just feel your hands tingling, or some vibration of your hands. Maybe you feel it on your eyes or on your forehead. And if you're doing this first thing in the morning, you could be doing this laying down. And just make sure you put a snooze button so that you don't fall back asleep. Okay, and now you can bring your hand over to your crown. So one hand on the right side, the other hand on the left side. And this position, or these position, the head position, will be much easier when you're laying down. So I'm not going to stay here too long because your arm is going to get too tired. So the third position is back of your head. So I'm just going to show you. You can bring it like this, side by side. Or you can do top and bottom like this, whichever is easier for you. And you can do this sitting down or laying down at the couch as well. And if you're doing it laying down, make sure your arms are supported. You can plop some cushions under your arms. And now you can bring your left hand over to your heart, right hand over to your shoulder, left hand on the heart, right hand over to the shoulder. And now bring your right hand over to your tanden, the 2 fingers below your belly button, and left hand over to your shoulder. So if you're doing this in the morning, you could also set your intention too for the day. And if you're doing this at night before you go to bed, maybe you can use it to celebrate all the accomplishment that you've done throughout the day. And don't beat yourself up for things you didn't do. Use the time to celebrate. And now bring your left hand over to your heart and keep your right hand at tanden. And now you can bring your hand into a prayer position if you like. And send gratitude to the energy or yourself. Take a nice deep breath in and out. And let's finish it with dry breathing again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and you can open your eyes. How was that for you? Lovely? Good. Does it seem like it's something that you can try on maybe at least a week for every day? Yes, yes. So my recommendation is either first thing in the morning or at the end of the night before you go to bed. So, say it again? Yeah, it helps you to fall asleep. The only caveat is for about 10% of the people, this gives little too much energy and they can fall asleep. But for most of us, it's very relaxing. So if you have a night, if you had a busy day, and then you're feeling like, oh my God, I can't fall asleep, did you notice your mental chatter started to calm down a little? Yeah, if you have a busy day, you're thinking about tomorrow's project and all these things you gotta do, then if you can do what you just did, then you can just calm down and you can fall asleep. And there was a woman who took my Reiki class couple months ago, and she had a daughter who's on antidepressant, and they've been really working really hard through whatever she's going through, and this girl hasn't slept for days. She only sleeps like 1 or 2 hours a day, and when she came and took the Reiki class, went home and gave her daughter a session, and this is someone who just took a Reiki class, right? It's not like someone who's been practicing like me. Her daughter slept 7 hours. And she emailed me and said, thank you. We tried everything, and she never was able to sleep through 7 hours for like past 5 years for the time they've been dealing with this depression problem. So it's really helpful to be able to, first, please do it for yourself. But in the Reiki 1 class, I teach you the self-care first. So I go through the all 16 steps of self-care on the first day because, like I mentioned before, I think self-care is the most important thing. You want to take care of yourself first before you give session to anyone else. But on the day 2, I teach you how you be able to give a session to your family members, your loved ones. So that way, it's a good way to share your love and connect with them. So my recommendation is take care of yourself first. And when you can have a cup overflowing, then you can be like, oh, can I give you a session? And, I don't have any children, but I have a lot of students who has children. And they often say, when they're young, somehow they decide to get sick at midnight when they can't call their doctors. And what my students do is at that time, all they can do is give them some Reiki before they go to bed. And often the next morning, they're fine. So there's that energy aspect of it, but also what's so great is that there's something that you can do about it, right? And then the children are actually receiving the love from the parents. So I also helped pass some people that are, I don't do that professionally, so don't call me for that one, but I helped people pass that's dear to me. And, I've noticed that there's something I can do at the moment. I can be strong, I can be centered and grounded, and I can actually contribute to someone else who's passing. Whereas the rest of the family members or the friends, right? I mean, it's devastating when someone's passing, and there's nothing they feel like they can do. But I feel like I had something I can contribute. So it doesn't have to be that drastic, but I have been doing this since 2001, and this really helped me in every way in my life. When I started, I couldn't even speak in front of like 5 of my friends. I was so shy. I'm originally from Japan, right? My English sucks, and I'm glad you can understand me now, but I'm just like, like when I'm trying to talk to like a group of 5 of friends, I couldn't say anything. But because I learned my confidence through building, self-care and also my passion for Reiki, because I just love Reiki and it helped me so much, and I've seen so many people being helped by that my passion overcame my shyness in my public speaking, and that's how I'm able to share like this. So whatever dream that you have, hopefully Reiki can help you with that. So what I want to do before we end is actually let's go over the self-care quickly one more time, so that way when you go home that you can use them. And my recommendation, whether you want to do this at night or in the morning, is tonight. Please use it tonight, because you'll remember. If you can, take time 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night. And some of them take a Reiki break. So, lunch break, go to like empty office, go to bathroom, and just do quick Reiki so you can pick yourself up. Okay, let's do dry bathing. We'll just do it very quickly. 1, 2, 3. Left hand out. 1, 2, 3. And purifying breath, breathing into your tanden. Retain there for a couple seconds and breathe out. And I'm just doing it once, so we can just go through the steps. So the first step is covering over your eyes. And do you remember what the next step was? Yes, over the crown. Good. Bless you. And the third step is back of the head. And the fourth step, left hand over your heart, right hand over your shoulder. And the next step is right hand on your tanden and left hand over to your shoulder. And now left hand over your heart. And right hand stays at tanden. And you can bring your hand into a prayer position. Send gratitude. And dry bathing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You think you got the steps? So who's going to take on doing this tonight? Yeah. Everyone? Okay. Good, great. So thank you so much for coming. And if you want to take this further and learn more steps, and also there will be more meditation and more steps on self-care and more Reiki blessings. So if you have any question, I'll be happy to answer any question you may have. But today is the last day for the early bird special. So if you're thinking about it, please come talk to me today or email me today. And I also do private session as well too. So if any of you are interested, please contact me. And whatever you do, I hope that you'll be using this every day for the rest of your life, but at least one day at a time. So thank you so much. Welcome to Reiki Dry Bathing. In this video, I'll teach you a Reiki technique on how to create inner calmness in less than 10 seconds wherever you go. If you're nervous or anxious because you have an important meeting or an interview, you can use dry bathing. Or maybe you just came out of an argument or a sticky situation and you need a shower. You can use dry bathing instead. I'll show you how it's done, and then I will go over with you slowly so you can follow me. It's very easy, right? So how you start out is with your right hand over to your left shoulder, and then you go crosswise all the way through your torso, and now with your left hand with your right shoulder, and then you go crosswise.
Now, back again with your right hand over to your left shoulder and you go crosswise. Now, what you're going to do is you bring your left arm out and then you go brush all the way through to your fingertips. Now, with your left hand, with your right arm. And now, with your left arm out, with your right hand, go brush all the way through. So let's do this together. Right hand over to your left shoulder, go crosswise. Left hand over to your right shoulder, go crosswise. And now, right hand over to your left shoulder again. And bring your left arm out and brush all the way through your fingertips. Right hand out, brush all the way through your fingertips. And now left hand out again and brush all the way to your fingertips. So in order to make it simple, I normally call it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'll just call out the number and I'll do the motion so you can follow with me. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Did you get it? And you can always rewind this video and follow with me and practice as many times as you like. So let's add breathing to this. If you think you got this down, you got the motion down, then there's a breathing component to this. And if you're still struggling with all the motion, you can practice this for a few days and then come back to it and add the breathing. So breathing is pretty simple. All you do is you breathe in before you do each motion, and as you're doing each motion, you breathe out. So let me show you how it's done. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And now you bring your arm out, breathe in and breathe out. Now the other hand, breathe in, breathe out, and breathe in and breathe out. So I'll just show you one more time, but I'm not going to say breathing in and out. You can just watch me, or you can watch me and do it with me. So that's the dry breathing. Dry breathing stimulate and activate meridian channels in your torso and in your arms, and also brushes off excess energy.